And good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei Bob. That's me. I'm on the Bob. I'm living in the car. Don't have any money, but God's got money. I have enough money to get 2 fried hot dogs with everything and a really great milkshake. I also had enough money to get a haircut. Right? How do you like? I'm trying to be like Mr. Spock in the episode when he had when everyone, pretty much everyone is. So, why are you worrying about? What are you thinking about? Yeah. Let's chat. So, I look at all the stuff that's out there, the wars. There are over 80 wars. All of them are involved with the United States government, NATO, the New World Order, EU, Russia, everybody. I mean, all reading the script. This little thing with Putin and Putin and civil war in Russia. If that isn't a soap opera trope, I don't know what is. And that it ended like that, like a light switch. Really? And this doesn't motivate the Ukrainians to do something interesting. I would say they're never going to do anything interesting. They're just going to keep taking billions and billions and billions of dollars from EU and the United States. I can gum anything, right? As my present girlfriend says, I'm the best lesbian she's ever had. So, how you doing? How you doing? Just touching the base, see what you're up to. The PayPal works. Somebody sent me a nice little thing to make sure that my PayPal did work, and it did. So, anybody wants to send anything to the old PayPal, I would truly agree. I have to fix my car. I want to take them, let's call up a few people. I got nothing to say. That's what I do. I call up a few people. Let's see if Martyred Artist is around. Hey, handsome. Oh, I'm at a road dog place and probably had one of the best milkshakes I've had in my life. Oh, if you want to be, okay, then we go. Okay, now what you think? Okay. Then, well, I'm still here in front of the peeps. You're just not on it. So, I'm always good. I can't complain. I have to have open heart surgery in a few weeks. That should be interesting. Yeah. Oh, they did it. I told you the story about how they wanted to have open heart surgery. I went and had a ultrasound. Right. So they everything looked really great. And then they said, "Oh, we did every kind of ultrasound but one, so we have to now do this other." So, yeah, right. I have what is known as a heart murmur, right? Well, a heart murmur is you have this valve. You have kind of the blood comes in from your body with all hook, and then there's another one where the blood comes through from your lungs that take the hooky stuff and puts it in your lungs, and you breathe the crap out. And the prana from your breath in goes into the blood, and that's what energizes, animates us. Is that prana? God's love. But there's a third one that kind of puts the blood back into the body, right? And it has a little valve that the other two don't so much have valves, but this one does because when the things are zipping the blood, that's a kind of closed system. The other one, where it goes back in your body, it has a valve. So when it's doing that thing with your lungs, the valve closes, and when it's pushing the blood to the rest of your body, it opens. And so heart murmur is when that valve is kind of wearing out, right? And there's a leak in it, right? They can hear it. But I've had, the wishing exit. Yeah, that's the wishing sign. So I've had that my whole life. Right? Now I'm in my 70s, I've survived with it this long. So I'm going to go have a more severe version of it. And also, I'm not going to just do it. And you go, oh, but it's no big deal. You just, they open up the vein in your arm, and they push the thing all the way up your arm into your heart, and it's like putting a new washer on the hose, the garden hose. No, I'm not. I'm gonna have them do all the testing. That like I said, I've had this in my whole life, and they try and say, well, you could have a stroke, and I could have a stroke any minute. But through my diet and exercise, I've gotten my blood pressure from it used to be 150 over 80. I've got it down to 108 over 60. That's like a teenager. And I got my cholesterol way down and high and good cholesterol. So, they did all the other things. And when they were doing them, I used to work on these machines. So I know how to research. But, I'm lying on a thing and I'm looking at the screen sideways. Really well. But I can tell that I'm sure I have that, but not really. So I'm not doing it automatically. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I never. But they show me enough information, and my little scientific spot brain says, yep. Right. And the process, I know the process. 8 zillion people have had it done to them. It's like, he said, I let them visit my eyes. A lot of virtually, if you live so long, you're gonna have it. If you live so long, you have this, you're gonna have that. So it's not like I've never done this before. Oops! Oh, I slipped. So all of those things line up. I haven't done sometimes, latter parts. But it's always that, and I have myself dialed in really nice, and the real problem is our health is being destroyed. I looked around where I was. There's you can go to these people, those people, blah blah blah, and they're below par. And I found a place that was designed to take care of people like me. And they're there to do the best they can. Well, it was bought out. It was a nonprofit entity, just like Blue Cross and Blue Shield used to be. And it was taken over by a mass. And so they chopped it up like bologna, sent all the people all over the state. And I could no longer just go into one building and talk to the people I need to talk to. And all the people who had it down, who were there when this thing was made, they all basically retired between, COVID and everything else, and then their whole system gets taken away from them. They all basically retire. So, and that's what I'm watching. They're just trying to turn off on people the most expensive procedures that they can make money on. Not basic. Let's do our best so you can have a good life. What do you want? with me, that I do need kids. You know. Yeah. Well, I don't see. I don't do what I damn well please. I do what I know is best for me. You know. Well, no. But 30 years ago, for 20 years, I did what I damn well please. You know. Now I didn't do drugs or alcohol. Or, I did everything. And that's why I said to myself, I'm doing everything in moderation. Well, I was comparing that moderation to what the desperate lawyers were doing, corporate lawyers were doing. You know? Yeah, I'm not quite as bad as those guys, but to me, it wasn't the best thing to do. But I have to tell you, it was loads of fun. Can you say that your drugs and alcohol were loads of fun? Oh, good. No. Come on, you've been in the program long enough. You saw that. I can't talk for you, but you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. My observation is that people who were addicted to things, they weren't really having fun. You know, they were. Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. Right. Right. Yeah. No. Yes. Yep. Yep. Right. Like you said, you want to die. Right. Want to die. Right. Right. And you know what's interesting? Yes. I have never been restless or discontent. That was no, and that's why I kind of did. So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine about the good old days of the '70s and all the craziness we did, and New York City went bankrupt, and things economically, socially, violence, crime was ridiculously way worse than it is now. No, not like then, because those things haven't quite hit the mark yet. Well, yeah, it's in its process. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. Right. But we were talking about those things. These aren't those things. But anyway, so we were going on about all the crazy stuff we did. And there was about 8 guys that were my crew. And we were all artists, and we all did different things. Well, we had to eat, so I was the electrician, another guy was a plumber, another guy was a painter, another guy was a carpenter, another guy was the mason, the other guy. We had a crew. And if any of us got one job, we'd say, hey, I got some buddies who can do that. So and after about 3 years, we got hired like we were contracting. We weren't, we were all these separate guys, but we were this group. So we kind of had certain types of jobs which were very high end, and in poverty times, the poor people, no poor people hiring us, but very rich people, and we were doing really super rich people's condos, building super rich people's restaurants and discos. So anyway, we were having quite the interesting life, living pretty well. money, that we were just being honest and doing this work because we like doing it. We like doing it with each other. So we were going on about all the different places that we experienced doing that. So I did a number of recording studios, and I would be part of the crew of the recording studio. Because they always kind of need an electrician. Oh, there's a buzz. There's this. You know, the engineer couldn't figure out why it was doing this, that, or the other thing. They called me and I figured that out. And that was when I was in my nitrous oxide period. Right? And I was supposed to wire in this kind of echo chamber, right? And they had just gotten a Studer machine that didn't quite sync up to it, and they were like freaking each other out. So I was there, and so the engineer guy, he spent a little time with me, but he wanted to go off and do something. So I said, I got this. But I had brought in like cases and cases of kitty whippets, right? And when they came in Monday, the whole place, every floor, every room, was full of those little charges, and about 1,000 of them. And they couldn't even walk in the place. They'd step on the floor and they whoo, fly through the air. And I was out there in the middle of the main studio, naked, drooling on my kitten. And, you know, so they kind of like threw a blanket over me, dragged me over the corner, sat me up, slapped me around a little bit, got a cup of coffee in me, and I woke up. And, well, that was the last kitty I did. You know, everyone was laughing. And I knew the guys who owned the place really well, so, you know, they knew that I wasn't a drug addict, but I just had a overindulgent weekend. And I did fix what they needed to have fixed. So it's not like they came in and things still didn't work. You know, I fixed it, but there I was naked. And that went around the Soho. Everyone knew that story. Until I, you know, instead of being embarrassed by it, it was like, yeah. And that, yes, right. And that was like when I really started to be the dude. Oh, Lord, it's good for you, actually. It's just the powers that be don't like how people act. Meaning, when I was at the VA and we worked on all these protocols, you know, my go-to thing for people's anxiety wasn't, you know, opiates. It was nitrous oxide. And that's why dentists use it, because the most anxious thing you can have is going to the dentist. And when I was at the VA, I met, you know, they had Fort Hamilton had a thing for women. You know, they had the women's section of that hospital. And they had a very nice ward for delivering babies. And, you know, I was working with some of those people, and I said, have you ever guys tried giving a woman in labor nitrous oxide? And they said, no. I said, well, why don't you? So they did. And they were amazed because it relaxed the person, it increased the blood flow to the baby. It did all these amazing positive things. Now, they then did studies and wrote papers and all of that. And did any of it sink down into the protocols of medicine? No. And they are just starting to kind of maybe even think about it 40 years later. After all the studies and all the things. The same thing with people getting into microdosing of psychotropics. We did that with people. You know, we were giving people mushroom tea, and it worked really great. You know? And we could do that kind of stuff in the VA, especially where we were. No one was looking. There was no protocols to tell us not to do anything. You know? And my boss, you know, he was head of everything, so he could do whatever the heck he wanted to. And that's why they murdered him, because he was going to go to Congress and say, "Hey, listen, all you know, if you're really we need to take care of these kids. This is the protocols. We've worked on it for 4 years here. We've done a lot of studies. We've worked on over 1,000 people. This is what works. This is what doesn't." And they murdered him because it was so, you know, against, medicine-oriented big pharma motifs. And appreciate it and realize what you learned from it. You don't have to do it again. And that's what I see people do. I mean, my family, alcohol doesn't work. And so my mom was a really good functioning alcoholic. My dad realized, oh, I shouldn't drink. And so he never did. And so I've only been drunk 3 times in my life. And 2 of them weren't that big deal. You know, one of them was, woo! The other, semi-embarrassing, but not really big deal. And so I don't drink that. I don't even drink. When people offer me a drink, I say, oh, a glass of water, a cup of coffee. If I'm having dinner and there's a nice bottle of red wine, I'll have a glass. But otherwise, no. And I'm watching all the cockroaches come in from California to Florida, Texas, and they are all self-medicating in the most unbelievable ways. And everything that they left those countries, they said, we had to get out of here. It was so terrible. Oh, California's lost, Florida's lost, Texas is lost. It used to be great, not anymore. And they brought all their problems with them. And it's super, super, super sped up. Meaning instead of taking years for the crap to hit the fan, it's doing it in weeks and months. Right? So anyway, that's my little report, and I'm still live here, and there's people on the chat, so I'm going to go back to them. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Well, I'm out. See, I haven't really had any bars in the deep green. I mean, just once in a while, maybe, but mostly last 3 weeks, not really. And so I can only, for sure, make a phone call when I'm like down in town. So. Oh yes, when you're leaving work. Yeah. Well, I was here. I'm about to head back into deep green. I'll be there. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Well, next Thursday I'm having my eyeballs lasered. I'm going to become like Superman. Yeah, and what else? I have a few other procedures. Yeah. So, yes, back. I didn't want to talk on show. So, that's what I'm saying is everyone they're already off. They're like Wile E. Coyote. They've strapped the Acme rocket on their back, lit the fuse, woo, took off, and they zipped all up the cliff. They're flying through air. Their ears are flapping. A few minutes ago, the rocket kicked out, and it's just breaking its inertia and coming back down, right? And that's what everyone, and that's what 4 years ago, I started talking about the big splat. I suggest you guys go back, look at those lips. I got my sweetie was complaining that she didn't like kissing a SOS pad, so I exposed my lips. She loves my lips. So anyway, so James, it'd be great if Fish came and lived in Florida. I've been telling her to go to Florida for the last 2 years. Right? I got her to go get her. I mean, she did it, but she got her passport. Me, not so much. John Boy stole all my ID, which is fine because those were all my slave IDs. So that's fine. And I've traveled the world a zillion times. I don't need. It's like living on $400. It's a great miracle because God is whatever I eat because I'm serving. I am God's slave. I'm not his waiter. I'm his slave. Whatever God says, that's the number one thing, right? I am in God's grace, right? And I do whatever God tells me to do, right? Through the auspices, I go through Jesus Christ's unconditional forgiveness, right? So that's my motif. Um, that's what works for me, yeah. And I can only, I've been told by many of my teachers, just tell the story. You don't have to convince people. You can't make them do anything. Just tell the story. So that's why I'm a griot. I tell you the story, right? So, and all the teachers I've had have, up until when I was 32, that was the last time. That's when I became the teacher, right? I'd always been the teacher. Little did I know I was always the teacher, even when I was little, and I had all these mentors, right? And Billy Kluwer, who discovered background radiation. He got a Nobel Prize for that one. He was working at the RAD lab. He's Mr. Microwave. And he also was Mr. Artist. He brought modern art. He curated the Armory show in the 20s, right? So he was art and science, just like me. I used to have a radio show called Art and Technology. Right? And I always wanted all these guys to come on the radio show with me. They said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Can't go public. Can tell you, get you to do it, but we can't do it. So, and that's me, right? I'm in my 70s, And I was thinking, as I was telling my friend Margaret Artist about, these clowns want me to get this heart thing. And so I was meditating this morning, and God said, don't worry about it. If you need it, get it. Don't need it, don't get it, right? You've had this murmur your whole freaking life. And then it said, listen, 2014, you died, you came, you saw us, we sent you back, right? And you're doing a great job. When you're done, boy, you will be done. You'll be toast. Fork, we'll take you out of here immediately, and you will move on. That's, that is what the deal is. So I have nothing to worry about. I just do what God tells me to do, right? Now, it's not like, oh, do this. No. Basically, it's like, this is a good example. Have this procedure, not have this procedure, right? Basically, as I was meditating and came to the realization, I will do all of my due diligence, and I will. It's like when I had my cataracts changed, right? I found the best doctor to do it. The girl who does 20 of these surgeries a week, for the last 10 years, that's somebody you wanted to work on, right? And even that, she screwed up. She didn't quite screw up. The system quite screwed up. So, but it didn't. It just annoyed me and it inconvenienced me. And annoyance and inconvenience, in a lot of ways, is not a bad thing because it's a tool that enables you to understand things, right? When I said everything was hunky dory all the time, you wouldn't have perspective, right? It's right now, right here. This is a good example, right here. You can't really see me, but you can see my outline, right? You can see the world out there. This is like Plato's cave, right? I am the cave, right? So that's what I'm here to do, to give you perspective, right? And you can only get when there is a real sharp difference between there and here. My stories do that. I do that. I'm here to do that for you, right? Be nice if you showed some kind of appreciation and threw something on the old PayPal or gave me some more thumbs up, got more people subscribed. All those people out there who enjoyed the show, you should have a, day that your buddies come by for a salon, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob salon, where you can just go and watch all the videos, all there, more than 2,000. They're all pretty good. So, and they're all very representative of the time. I've been doing this now for 5 years. Ooh, let's try talking about that. Yanni boy. Haven't you read? There we go.
The person you have dialed is not able to receive calls at this time.
Oh boy, we can't receive calls at this time. Let's see.
The person you have dialed is not able to receive calls at this time.
That's nice of him. Hey, John, just try to call you. Hope you're well. I don't often able to make a phone call, so I tried, and I'm about to have a number of medical procedures between now and sometime end of July or early August. But I'd love to come visit sometime in between or sometime sooner rather than later, or maybe later than sooner. Otherwise, hope you're well. Everything is going your way. There you go. So I left Johnny Boy that message. Who else? Who else are we going to talk to? Let's see. There's Jenny. That's one of the kids who used to talk all the time. I said there were about 100 or so folk who got a hold of me. I enjoy listening to you when I lay down at night. I want to thank you. Thank you, Booker. I'm here to serve. That's what I do. And there's so many shows. Have you jumped into the pool and listened to, like I said, I have close to 2,000 shows up there. And they're all pretty interesting, right? And you don't have to listen to them all the way through. You can. I could go all the way to the beginning. And the first one is me coming out of the phone store after getting, like 5 months ago. And the kid who was working there was pretty sharp. And he's the one who set up my Dreamy Dreamland. And I'm walking out and going amazed that I have a YouTube show because I had just been living at John's, and John had just thrown me out for maybe about the 12th. And so I went and got a phone and then went on a little road trip. And anyway, so yes, go watch more of the shows, right? And I would suggest if you enjoy one, put it down on your hard drive or on a CD-ROM or on a thumb drive or something. Because I have a sense that the internet is going to go bye-bye sometime this year, next 6 months, within the next 10 months, right? And there's a good chance of a limited nuclear war within the next 10 months. Or, alien invasion, like within the next 4 months, which would give us a great opportunity to, stop doing what we're doing. Because aliens will tell us what to do, like Big Mommy and Dad. Anything that represents the breakaway civilization, they'll go into all of the minutia of all of that. So how much time do I have left? about 20 minutes or so. Just, a good way to do is go to shows, put your little finger on the thing and go whoop, and it'll go boop, 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 boop. It'll stop at a show. You hit the show, it'll start playing it, and you can put your little cursor on that red line and just like, if it's a 2-hour show, you can just kind of look at it and see on my face go boop, 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 boop. And if it looks anything interesting, you can stop at any place. Because that's the beauty of this. This is stream of consciousness. It's not scripted. This is the most unscripted thing you're ever going to see on YouTube. And so, Booker, when did you start watching this? And what part of the universe are you living in? And if your name is Booker, do you read books? What else? And everyone can always get a hold of me at the dudeawake42@gmail. Let's see if anyone has got a hold of me. If anyone has dropped anything into the old PayPal.
Oh, no, that's no, you were on. I thought you were. Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. So let's see. Yes, I have an email to contact. Yes. It is thedudeawake42@gmail. Thedudeawake42@gmail. And that is, all lowercase, all small. Yep. The Dude, D-U-D-E, awake, A-W-A-K-E, 42@gmail. The Dude Awake 42@gmail. The Dude Awake 42@gmail. So, Booker, give that a shot right now. I'll see if you pop up there on my little phone here, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about, and it won't be on the YouTube. It'll just be mano a mano, private. Anything that's on the old email is just between me and you. And Big Brother. What else? So, since I've been doing this, I had about 100 people get a hold of me on the old YouTube. And about 40 people from the chat. I call it the cadre, right? And the cadre used to be more of a cadre, right? We'd have a lot of people come on for every show. We'd actually have an interesting conversation. And not so much. But I appreciate you for dropping in. You can say some more. You can get a hold of dudeawake42@gmail. And anyway, it's interesting. Of all the 200 or so people who I've connected through YouTube, and they got a hold of me at my dudeawake42@gmail, I would say at least 100 of them had some issues, right? Some really, I don't know where to turn to. Can you help me? I did. And then I became their number one go-to person, and they changed their life, and they did, truly changed in amazing ways. And then they kind of got too busy to talk, right? And that's very similar. You read the Bible, and you read all the interesting characters. That's why, the Bible is great for me because I'm writing stories these days, and I get the greatest stories and character traits like Noah, Adam, David, Joseph of the coat of many colors, all of those characters, Solomon. But the girls are the best, right? They're the ones who really true blue. The guys are full of themselves, and they always fall into the same thing. God helps them out. What doesn't happen? So that's one of the problems about me trying to keep up with the chats is that I've already, whatever you were talking about during that chat is probably about 7 things back that way. But I'm always open for anyone to get a hold of me, to come and go as they wish. I'm here to serve. It's not like a need. I don't need to do this. I don't need really anything because I have God's unconditional love and Jesus' unconditional forgiveness. Nothing I do will make a difference. Right? I learned that. But when I represent God's love and Jesus' unconditional forgiveness, that's being gracious, right? And graceful. Right? That's why I can dance so well. I can dance. And but God's love is grace. Right? So I exist. Clairvoyant. No, what I am is a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic alchemist. So I can see things that most people can't. If they open their eyes, they could see it too. Yes, I'm a reader. So send me your email and I'll send you some of my manuscripts. I'd love your insight. Right? And so everyone is clairvoyant. Up until Babylon, everyone, communicated telepathically, and we still do. We just have been, incarcerated in materialism, to the point that all our higher senses, our 6 and above, we it's like blinders. Horses have blinders because they can see almost 360. Right? They have an amazing view, and when they can see all that, it's hard for them to obey the guys who are riding, or on the wagon that they're pulling. So I'm very insightful because I see them. I'm looking 3 blocks away. Right? I'm looking a year and a half away. Right? Oregon Ham. Makes sense to me, but why have we lost conscious telepathy? We haven't lost it. We're just wearing blinders of materialism. It's still there. Yeah, it's all of our above 6, our senses 6 and above are still there. Parts are still there. We're just wearing blinders of materialism. We're so, we don't have a free will. We are willful, right? There is no free lunch, so you don't have. When you are living by your will, you're living outside of God's love, and so all hell can break loose because it's being manifested by your willful materialism, right? Which doesn't exist; it's an illusion. So that's the dynamic, right? Come on, that was a good question. So ask me some more. Right? How much time do I have left in my battery? Oh, another 15 minutes or so. Because I can lose track of the battery, and then the show just ends like that. And for it to get, on YouTube takes 20 times longer than if I close before the battery dies. So that is the story. And so John Boy, right, who bought the school, right? he is the poster boy of this dynamic. You know? And that's what most people saw me. That's what I first did, because he just kept putting his phone in front of me because when I was talking to him about stuff, he would do that, and then he put it on the show, and his shows would get maybe 20 or 30 people watching, and every time I would go on and tell a story, 70,000 people would watch, and he was monetized, so he made $1,000. Right? And then he'd scream at me about how I cost him money. Have we ever heard of a Russian scientist? Yes. He's the guy who invented the time bet. Right? Stalin threw him in jail for a year, and they kind of forgot about it. They threw him in a cell down in the basement and forgot about him. And he just went into state, and he saw all kinds of amazing things and invented all kinds of very interesting math. And he basically made a time mirror, right? And back in the days when I was part of the Theosophical Society and also part of a thing called the Time Tunnel, that Preston Nichols wrote a book called the Montauk Project. As part, I knew all those guys back then. What's his name? Duncan and his older brother, or his twin, really, Al Bielek, and a bunch of others, right? We were part of the U.S. Psychotronic Society, which was a cutout for a number of esoteric schools. These guys didn't even know that they were part of it because they were being mind-wiped. Their egos, oh yeah, I want to do that, and then, they'd be working for some military, Lockheed or Grumman or whoever, and then they said, well, you're a really special guy. We want you to work on this special project, but you have to sign this document, and you're now, and so me, that's the one. I just signed out. All the people who were part of the way above those guys were my mentors from a little kid, and I was part of things, but they kept me away from that place that I would be, because they had other plans for me. And I've always been able to, as one of my mentors said, I serve God's well to the point where I can talk truth to power, and power listens. They'll do what I might tell them to do, but they listen. And so they don't truly screw with me. Yes, they let me do this show on YouTube because they know it's important to them, right? But they keep me down on the farm, which is fine, because I'm living like a millionaire on $400. And when I need more money, it'll be there. If I need to go, be do, I'll do that. Whatever God wants me to do, I will be doing. Right? I won't even be thinking, I'll be doing it. Right? So, Cliff High speaks highly of it. Yep. Cliff's a good bud. And he's a trip too. I love Cliff. I've known him, I've met him at a number of conferences. We all went to these conferences, and a number of us who didn't want to be swept into something that we didn't want to be swept into, we kind of semi-retired. The New Age is what they called it back in the day. And Cliff was truly, he was I was a demographer. And Cliff he was a computer programmer that made models. And so we were like kindred brothers on different ends of the spectrum. So, and I never, my whole thing is when I'm in public, I can tell stories if it's appropriate, but mostly I'm very quiet. I'm always studying, I'm always observing. I'm always looking at the threads, right? So what is a shamanic psychosocial cultural forensic anthropologic alchemist, right? So, I'm not a shaman, but I do come from a position where my worldview is shamanic. That's the window I'm looking at, right? And shamanism is the understanding of the Orlando. So, Jamie, give us a 411 Orlando, right? Well, I'm babbling away here. I want you to just give us because you do so well on the chat. And Morgan, and Mr. Booker, I see how Jamie puts things in capitals. And on this chat, it's appropriate because I'm blind and I really barely can read what you guys do when you and lowercase. So everybody wants to put something in the chat. Put it not like you're screaming at me, just so I can read it easily, right? So come on, Jamie, give us the 419 of Orlando. Right? And it's not a place in Florida. So you're the only one there, Jamie? How much do I have left in the battery? Probably another 10 minutes. So the bottom line is that we live in the moment, not in the past, not in the future. Those are just shadows. So shamanism is understanding this, that you live in the moment, right? So shamanic, psychosocial, right? Psycho. To understand an individual, you got to understand their worldview coming from their personal id, right? The psyche, right? That's psyche, right? And so the psyche is social. So their social is where they are in the social world. You know, what's their job? What's their sexual preference? Where do they live? You know, all of that. Right? What do they consider themselves as? You know, like black, white, LGBTQ, MLUSE, whatever flavor of the water bag they are. So there's my pony. So that way I can keep an eye on it because I left the door open. So anyway, I haven't, I guess, bumped up against this place. I mean, it's like a Tasty Freeze on steroids, but they do have quite the amazing milkshake. The hot dogs are just hot dogs. You can't do any better than a hot dog that's death, except a saw breath from a wagon in Manhattan. That's like crack cocaine at best. Anyway, what else can I say? That's all I can say. Psychosocial, cultural. So culture is where grandma came from. What do you eat for what holidays you have? You know, what you eat for the holidays. That's kind of the cultural thing. Psychosocial, cultural, forensic. You take it apart, thread by thread. You look at the thread. You don't look at anything that you could be prejudiced about. It's hard to be prejudiced about the threads that are cloth. You can be prejudiced about the piece of cloth, but it's hard to be prejudiced about the threads. Anyway, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic. Anthropology is all those ologies are things invented by white men to prove that they're smarter than anybody else, that they're better. Right? So anthropology was there to prove that white men are superior to everybody else, and that's why they should be in control, and everyone should just suck it. Right? So that's anthropology. Psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropology. Alchemy. What is alchemy? Making gold from grass metals, right? And we are the gold, right? That little our spirit is gold because our spirit is the co-creation of wealth with God. Now, God is an inappropriate word for love, right? So, have you read? Come on, Jamie. Kick it in. Let's see what Google has to say about this.
A regular sugar tone. No, they don't have like the waffle. Have you ever seen a waffle tone?
Orlando.
Yes, it's like this.
Orlando. OREA space LINDA. Well, and the book is a manuscript written in the form of oral fractions, purporting to cover the historical mythology and religious themes of remote history. Oh, it deals with Nazi Germany. Oh yeah. This is like the Vol and the different mystery schools. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Yep. Modern esotericism, the book of experience, a revival popularity in English-speaking world in the writings of Robert S. Strawham, The Other Atlantis. He reproduced the full text of. Yep, that's it. VIP for. Yep. Great mysteries, ley lines, telluric energy. Yep. Alternate history. Yep. New age. Yep. So yeah. So this is all the stuff I was interested in the 60s and 70s. I was part of the Theosophical Society, the Fuel Society, the ISIS Foundation, a whole bunch of others. And I was like their new flavor, and I was going to be their boy. And I kind of was, but I really wasn't. But I liked them all. They were nice people. And whenever they wanted to do something that I didn't think was appropriate, I wouldn't do it. And they were like, and they kept giving me a space to do it. So that was cool. And pretty much the elders of all these things who wanted me to take over when they died, they all died. Half of them, especially George, last year of his life, he spent a lot of energy on me trying to take over for him. And I just said I couldn't do it. I had he wasn't my master. He was my teacher, my mentor, and my good friend, who I loved dearly. But I only had one master, God. And I kind of always knew it. Now, I'm a lucky bastard, so I knew it within the construct of just being in the flow, right? Not questioning anything, not, just I was the dude, right? But as I got older, I was around and was part of these mystery schools. I kind of got the 411 of what it is. Anyway, I gotta go. So I'm good talking to you all. I'll try and get a hold of you tomorrow. Tomorrow's what? Wednesday. Yeah, I should be around the YouTube college. But so yeah, look at this new look at me. Yeah, no longer hair sticking out everywhere. And so women who want me to look a certain way or act a certain way, but they don't because the way I act and look is like so out kilter from whatever they're used to. They kind of like it. When I pick up what they want and then go do it without them asking me, it's a big plus. And I never understood why guys wouldn't just do that. I am blessed if there's a woman on my arm or even talking to me, So anyway, so it's summertime. Yes, the summer solstice was just a few days ago. And when that happened, it was like a light switch. I was outside doing some gardening. And in the morning, it was nippy. It was in the 50s. And it was one of those gray, rainy days. And the sun wasn't direct. At 1 o'clock, it was like just as the solstice turned on where I was. The temperature, it got warmer by 10 degrees, but the energy, it's like I was in a microwave oven. I mean, here, okay. Those are burns from the sky. My whole arm was gone.
Yeah.
And these were like the 3rd degree burns, not just the redness and puffiness and the swelling up. open, oozing sores, right? And, I put on my herbal wear on my arm, comfrey and the other little elements. And so it's really good. I saw my doctor the other, a few days, 2 days after that happened, for something else, and he was like freaked out about my skin. What happened to you? Boiling water? I said, no, touch the sky. So anyway, watch out for the sky, kids. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.